What do you think about Pierre Poilievre? Glasses, no glasses? Do you think it's giving the McSteamy he's trying to give?
Yeah, so Pierre Poilievre is he's on a journey. It's really interesting that the party was like, oh, if you take off your glasses, you'll become the sexy librarian. Like, no. Like, glasses, no glasses. You're a piece of shit.
Hello and welcome back to Overstimulated. Today I am joined with a fabulous, hilarious, funny friend and comedian, Dylan Mahaney. Did I say that right?
No. It's Mahaney.
Mahaney.
It's Mahaney.
Mahaney.
Like hand.
Yeah, I know. You already did that earlier.
Yeah.
But then do you want to know why? Then you told me like a long story about somebody said Mahaney. And
Yeah.
that was wrong. And then that's what I heard in my head. And that's
But
what
you
I
said Mahaney.
Mahaney. I was going mahogany.
You didn't say either.
I feel like we should redo this whole
No, I love
intro
it.
again.
Leave it in. You have no idea how often I go through this.
Really?
Like my handshake joke when I get introduced on stage is it's Mahaney.
It's Mahaney. And everybody like, oh, like they like kill themselves laughing.
Yes.
Okay, well, speaking of jokes, let's rewind to the very first night that we met.
Yes.
It was in the basement of a sports bar on Bloor Street in
naturally.
Toronto. Yeah, of course, because that's where a straight woman and a gay man would be hanging out. Of course.
Yes.
Where else would we want to be?
I remember I was a little cranky.
Okay.
I actually I wore a tracksuit. A ridiculous tracksuit because I didn't want to put on like actual clothes.
Okay.
Because I was cranky.
Was it green?
No. It was like a beige, like a beige.
Yes. Mhm.
So I wore that. It's like my spaceship suit. Anytime I wear it, my boyfriend says that I look like an astronaut. So I'll bring it out for concerts and stuff.
Right. The important moments.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Upstairs, you were hanging out with your friend who was lovely. And I saw you and I was like, OMG, you seem so fun. Are you gay? You're like, no, I'm sorry. And then John Tory resigned.
At that bar.
At the bar. We were
Yes.
there together.
That was a special
that
moment.
happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I remember I went home and like my friend Keelan, who I was hanging out with, like she came back to my place afterwards. We were gonna have another drink at mine. And I remember being like, yo, put the chicken nuggets on pause. Like I need to go film a TikTok about this right now. Like I was like,
Yeah.
the people need to hear from me.
Yes.
And I literally was drunk off my ass and like made a little like video with like
Yes.
my chicken nuggets of being like, yo, this piece of shit. Like
Yeah.
look at Barb Tory, like a
Yeah.
rocket. How did you do that? Anyways, that was like such a special, and that was just, I feel like the impetus of us just exploring themes of infidelity and drama
and politics.
And politics,
The
that's right.
scandals.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so many scandals. Okay, so you actually used to work in politics yourself.
I was a campaign manager for one campaign.
One campaign.
For one campaign.
What was that like?
Well, we lost.
That's great. So can you describe for everybody who maybe just doesn't have like as much knowledge in politics, like what is that like process like? Like how do you become involved with the campaign? Like how did you get involved in that? And like what were like some of the political issues you were interested in at the time?
So I was living in the riding first, and I really liked the
And where was that?
candidate. This is in New Brunswick.
In New
Lived in New
Brunswick.
Brunswick. So it was in a riding in Moncton, and I really enjoyed the first candidate, and she was really great, and I wanted to help out on her campaign, and I did. And doing so, the folks who were a part of the association, so like the riding association, because basically like every candidate, they have an association, so like board members that handle the funding and stuff like that for this localized campaign that is separate from the larger provincial campaign.
Okay. Were any of these people hot?
No, so to my point,
Aw.
they were all ready to just kind of like they had been volunteering for like 30, 40
Oh
years.
no.
So they're like, oh my God, there's somebody who's not dying tomorrow. We need to hand this off to them.
Yeah.
So I was the treasurer
Spicy.
initially, and I was like, I am not doing any math. And they're like, you don't need to do anything.
No.
Yes. And then the Writing Association president got charged for
With fraud?
for I don't. How do for child pornography?
Oh no. Oh.
Yeah. So I remember. Okay. So here's how this whole thing happened. Where I started getting emails from the like the New Brunswick Liberal Association. I started getting emails from them addressing me as writing association president, and I am not the president. Yeah. And I remember
you're like, I'm barely treasurer. Like I'm not even touching any money.
Yes, I called the head staffer for the New Brunswick Liberal Association, and I was just ripping him a new one. I'm like, how are you guys doing this? Like, how am I the president? There wasn't even an election. What are you talking about? And he was like, yeah, so this guy got charged, and you can find about it on CBC. And I was like, yes, I am the president. You are correct. I was totally like, I need to speak with the manager right now. Get Justin on the phone. And then they told me what had happened behind the scenes, and I was like, yeah, you made the right choice.
Yeah, I will be the president. I promise I will not touch any children. I'm like, that's wild. That's also so disappointing, because like anyone who goes into politics, I assume it's like for one of two reasons: that you want to either like help people, or you care about a certain issue you want to an impact on. Second reason being that you're just a complete narcissist and want to, have admiration of strangers. And it's just like, it's unoriginal, like when politicians are having an affair, seeking out child pornography, like I'm just like, do something original, like.
See, this guy wasn't even a politician. He was just somebody who had close ties with the party and had volunteered. And I remember when we had our candidate and we were running the second campaign that I was working on, where I was campaign manager, somebody else was handling the sign distribution for the candidate. Mm-hmm. And a very large sign was placed on his lawn. So I had to be like, we need to remove the sign. No. we need to remove.
Get it out.
It's like, go pick it up. Say you made a mistake.
As a newly elected president / treasurer, please remove the sign.
Please remove the sign.
Also, like, I'm just imagining like New Brunswick, like. There's only 20 lawns there. Max,
And you know what? They had the largest lawn in the riding.
Of course they did, those motherfuckers. All that water that they're wasting.
Yeah.
Insane. Okay, what are your current thoughts on the cost of living crisis in Canada?
I mean, everything is expensive. I don't know what else. What else could I add that other people haven't said? I'm poor. Everyone's poor. We're all poor. Everything is expensive. I have started stealing though.
Oh, yeah. Go on.
Sorry, Galen Weston. I figured I don't want to. Here's the thing. I'll tell you offline exactly what I'm doing.
Great.
But I don't want it to get out. Like, I don't want them to be like, oh, we have people that are doing this specific thing.
Yeah.
That are stealing food and we need to change it. But I am stealing food.
Are you using self-checkout? Can you answer that? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
See, I kind of, I think if you're using self-checkout, you're an employee and you deserve an employee discount.
And I get a big discount.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've heard of I don't know if this is your actual tip. I've heard of friends either just ringing out everything is bananas. 4011, that's the code for it. The grocery store code, and you're typing it in. I've also heard of people grabbing the little paper bags that you put mushrooms in and filling it with fancy cheese.
Oh.
Yeah. So do with that information what you will.
Yeah.
Can you not even give us a little insight into your tip?
Okay. So never use a basket.
Oh.
Always use a tote bag. So you fill up the tote bag, you get to the self-checkout, you just empty the tote bag. Oops, did I leave the most expensive item in there and forget to pay for it?
Yeah.
You realize when you're at home, of course.
Yeah, right.
But then it's too far to go back.
That's right. How ridiculous is it that cost of living in Canada's got so bad that we're just sitting here on a comedy podcast, just fully just being like, you know what I mean? Like 15 years ago, people would be like, you deserve to go to jail. That is so untactful. Now everyone's like, fuck yeah.
I know.
Get him. Yeah.
I know. It's not even about the excitement. Because before when I would steal, it would just be like, this is exciting. I'm doing something wrong. Now it's like, I actually will die if I don't steal this chicken.
Right. I will not hit the protein goals if I can't do it. If I don't bring this rotisserie chicken out as a banana, it's over for me.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, utilize the produce bags for meats.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, sometimes there's like a $15 pack of chicken and an $8 pack of chicken. Perhaps you put them both in the same bag and you only ring the $8 chicken and the machine doesn't know. The machine is like, oh, yes, you just placed chicken on me.
Chicken, yeah.
This feels like the weight of chicken.
That's right. That's
$8.
Isn't it funny that now it's like, it's a weighted thing, right? Where it's like groceries are costing more. Surely they can't be paying more in salaries because there's less people working now.
They're not.
So like, I would love to, write in a letter to the manager of Galen Weston and just wonder, like, where's that money going, King?
To himself.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
I think
so
he has like 40 acres.
Good for him.
Like maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Away, like up north.
There's
like
honestly,
north of the city.
Yeah.
It's like a compound.
He's got a full, maybe the New Brunswick Liberals want to host a party at the compound. Maybe. Wait, is Galen Weston's compound the Canadian equivalent of Epstein Island? Is that what I'm hearing?
I
don't know what's happening on it.
I don't know.
But let's start that rumor.
I'm not starting that rumor. I love Loblaws. Galen, what you do for the country is amazing.
It's amazing.
You are a pioneer.
Incredible. No, it's so great. A pioneer. You've managed to have an oligopoly in Canada. No one's ever done that before. Never been done. I was at the CNE yesterday, and Tim Hortons now has Tim's Financial. They now have a credit card. And soon, I think by the time I have children, there's going to be Tim's University. There's going to be Tim's Telecommunications. It's just going to be wild.
See, the thing is they're already doing a disservice to the country with their coffee itself.
I know. That's bad enough.
Yeah.
Like, Tim Hortons has already ruined my bowels. I don't need it to ruin my credit also. Okay? They've cost me enough in this day and age. There was a recent headline that came out. A Conservative MP, her name is Michelle Ferry. I don't know if I'm saying her last name correctly. She had to delete a post that she made on social media because she said that the cost of living is causing parents to traffic their children. Do you think that could be at all true? And are the trafficked children going to Galen Weston's private property?
Like, are they churning the president's choice butter on the compound?
No, they weigh them as bananas. They're coming in just to make sure they're juicy enough. Yeah.
I mean, Michelle is an interesting person.
Do you know her personally?
No, I would never want to.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I know of her. I would not trust her with anything.
Okay.
I don't know. Have you seen her face?
Like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It's not a face you can trust.
It's what do you think? Okay, let's pull up her face so everyone can see if you're watching.
I don't God bless women.
God bless
except this one.
Except this one. Is there something about her face in particular that you're concerned about?
I mean, you'll see. No. That's not a woman you can trust. I'm sorry.
Okay, but I would challenge you to find one member of Parliament's photo that you could be like, that's a trustworthy person.
You want to know who my favorite member of Parliament is?
Please, I actually do.
So it's Jeanette Petitpas-Taylor. Keep going. You got it. Petitpas. Petit. Yeah, there we go. Jeanette Petitpas-Taylor. Okay.
You trust this woman. That's your favorite MP.
We smooch every time we see each other.
Hot. Wait, is that the only girl you've ever kissed?
No, I've kissed so many. No, listen, Jeanette is amazing. Yeah, I absolutely love her. I would trust her with the country.
You would trust her with the country. Okay, for those people just listening, Jeanette is a white woman, short black bob, gorgeous blue eyes.
I mean, the bob is, listen, Jeanette, I love you. The bob looks like a helmet.
Okay, speaking of MP fashion faux pas, what do you think about Pierre Poilievre? Glasses, no glasses? Do you think it's giving the McSteamy he's trying to give?
Yeah, so Pierre Poilievre is, he's on a journey. He's on a journey. It's really interesting that the party was like, oh, if you take off your glasses, you'll become the sexy librarian. Like, no. Like glasses, no glasses. You're a piece of shit.
No, truly.
Like you put glasses on a turd, it's still a turd.
It's like, do you know, like in every early 2000s rom-com, it was like, whoop, she takes off the glasses and all of a sudden it was a beautiful girl all along. Like I think they were trying to employ that same strategy.
Yeah. I mean, he looks... He does look better, but he is I noticed that he is evolving. Like his look is evolving quite rapidly. Like I don't know if they have him on steroids or something, but I'm noticing that his shoulders are getting bigger. The muscles like around the neck are kind of like beefing up. His shirts are getting tighter as well. I've noticed.
I haven't clocked that. That's Do you think he has a stylist or is he just working out more?
There is a conservative gay that's running around being like, put him in the black one. Yeah, absolutely.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to?
He can't meet a Nazi in that shirt. Yeah. They're
like, how are we supposed to build housing if he doesn't have the muscles? He needs to be out there with the axe himself.
That's right.
I think they should try and portray that. Actually, I think that would be quite beneficial.
Him building.
Yeah. Get a little construction hat on him.
I'm sure. Oh my God.
I'm sure he would love that because he's been a career politician. So he's like, oh.
Yeah. He, just a nice little costume.
Yeah. A little costume.
Yeah. Put a little like orange vest on with a hard hat, steel toe boots,
So cute. Oh my God.
His little fashionista stylist will be like, the men are gonna love it.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's what a conservative gay sounds like.
No, I actually feel like a conservative gay is like biohacking because like I don't want to say there's closeted.
Oh my God. Yes, there is.
I don't think somebody loves drinking milk that much if they're not a tiny bit, I don't know. I'm just saying.
No, there's so many people who are in the closet that are in very powerful roles. Yes, and they are also a part of making decisions that repress
100%.
Gay rights.
Right, because they're uncomfortable with it in themselves, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of being in the closet, what was it like growing up in rural New Brunswick with so many other gay boys around?
So it was just me. Okay, so here's what was interesting. I had to learn about gay from the TV. But what's great is that my father's deaf. So I had authorization on everything. Oh. Like I was 11 years old. I renewed a mortgage.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I absolutely
No, you didn't. You should be prime minister. God damn.
I know.
Okay.
Look, I'll take off my glasses. Boom.
Woo!
Boom.
Dylan!
Boom. So I had authorization on the satellite because in the country there's no cable.
Oh.
So I called and I was like, yeah, my father forso authorizes the gay channel.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you please describe the gay channel?
Oh, it's Out TV.
I don't know anything about this. Go on.
So gay people are a subcategory of people. And we have our own culture.
Shocking.
Yeah. And they let us have our own TV station. Only one, though.
Does Pierre know about this?
Pierre, I think he's
tuned in.
Yeah, he's tuned in. With that haircut, he's tuned in.
He's tuned in. Just to know what the electorate is saying. Of course,
yes.
Of course.
So Out TV, they would play sometimes like raunchy stuff. They would have like just different shows that kind of not exposed, get them. But they, shined a light on different stories and stuff like that of queer folks. And I mean, I didn't necessarily care about that. I more so cared about the shows like Queer as Folk, where like, for like 3 seconds, there'd be like a naked butt on the TV. Like that's
spicy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
do you remember, was it a specific show you were watching, or was there a moment, do you remember, where you're like, yo, I might be into boys?
Oh my God. I 1,000,000%. There was this Tylenol commercial.
No.
And this older woman.
You're putting a thermometer up the ass? Like what?
No. So Tylenol commercial, there was this older woman who liked painting, but she had arthritis. So she had to take Tylenol, and then she was able to do her painting. And she was painting a naked man.
Oh.
And he was so hot. And I'm like 13 years old, and I'm like, Mom, we need Tylenol right now.
No.
Like, get me acetaminophen.
Please. I'll even get it at the self-checkout if we have to. So it was a Tylenol commercial, and it wasn't even a real man. It was a painting of a man.
Was a man.
It was
So the lead up is like, oh my God, my fingers are so sore, and then she takes the Tylenol and she's like, oh, I can do my art. And like the gag of the commercial was that she was painting a naked man. You have this nice, lovely woman who's in her garage, and she's got arthritis. And yes, very sexy man that was there.
Very spicy.
Yeah.
So then being in rural New Brunswick, you're like, yo, Tylenol's where it's at. I'm getting on Out TV ASAP.
Yeah.
How did you get out?
How did I get out of
New Brunswick?
I left. So I moved to Fredericton. So my geography growing up is a little weird, but I grew up in Moncton, but then also Plastrock, which is like very, very country. So I kind of had my coming of age in the country, and then I moved away for college in Fredericton, which is per capita has the highest rate of gay people. Per capita. Now, there's like 50,000 people that live in Fredericton. So
all of them.
That means there's 10 gay people.
Right.
But per capita, most in the country. So when I moved to Fredericton, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to come out, but I'm going to live as I am. And that's what I did. And it was nice. So Fredericton has a very special place in my heart. I did get kicked out of school and moved to Moncton for more schooling, but that's that.
You made it. You made it on the other side. Yeah. What advice would you give to somebody who's maybe unsure about their sexuality and is just like, fuck, my life's over. Am I going to be accepted? All those like questions that are going through your head.
Well, I mean, that's very difficult because I personally struggle with hyper independence.
Interesting.
Yeah, where I'm like, I don't need anybody. But as I get older, I'm like, oh, I kind of need people in my life.
Yeah.
So it's difficult. I mean, listen, you have to figure it out. People are going to accept you and people are not going to accept you, but it's up to you to create a community of supporters around you. Mm-hmm. And that's true for anybody, really. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what walk of life you're going to go down. You do need to have people around you that are going to champion you and not make you apologize for liking the things that you like or being who you are. So that's what I did very young. And then, I mean, listen, I spent like 10 years volunteering for like queer organizations and stuff. So I gave my time back to the community.
Yeah,
so
that's really nice. Yeah.
I did my time.
You did your time. You made some connections. You never made it to Galen Weston's compound, but you explored. That
probably wasn't young enough to be trafficked.
No. Oh my God. No, but I think what you're hitting on though, like that's such good advice of like, yes, like I think I really struggle with that sometimes too, of being like hyper independent and being like, yo, I don't need help. Yeah. But I've realized like particularly, I think it's come up in my life recently, like with respect to dating, where I'm like, oh no, because again, I'm straight, as you mentioned off the top. Yeah. And
sort out you.
I know. Thank
you.
This is a safe space.
Yeah.
So I appreciate everybody.
I should have let you.
I know it's 2024, and I chose oppression with my sexuality. I didn't I was like, well, I could have dated anyone, you know. And I was like, no, I would like to date people. I would like to date my only natural predator. Actually, that's what I would like. That's what would be exciting. Yeah. But I realized, like, especially with guys too, like as like a woman myself, like. You have to let them like do things for you, you know, like you have to give them a task that they can like complete so that they can feel like they're, this sounds so calculated when I'm saying it. It's not like it becomes calculated because I'm just so used to just like running my own show. Yeah. And so like I have to like correct myself to be like, no, like it's actually better for you and him if you're like, hey, can you do that for me? You know?
Well, like as a man, I can tell you, like, I need to be needed.
Yeah.
Yes. Like what's the point of having me around if you don't need me for something? So listen, all of my friends are girls with the exception of very few. So whenever, like, I will open the door for you. I will make sure you're taken care of. I will make sure you're protected. I even protected a stranger the other day. Okay.
Wait, Dylan is an alpha male. You heard it here first.
I am. So the other day I was finished up playing pickleball, you know, because I'm over 30. So my boyfriend and I are walking home and we see this guy running past us. He goes up to this girl and he's like chatting with her. Like he's running in like a suit, basically. Like he's not like running, he's running after her.
That's giving desperate.
He's talking to her and she seemed a little uncomfortable. So I look at my boyfriend and I'm like, okay, we're just going to kind of pretend like we're chatting here. So we're just like standing around, keeping an eye on her. And again, we have no idea who this woman is. And the interaction stopped about 5 minutes later. And it turns out she lives in the same building as us.
Oh my God.
So when we were going into the elevator, I was like, did you know that guy? She's like, no, he just came up and like asked for my number. So this guy's driving down the street, sees her, pulls over, runs after her, and then is like not letting her continue on with her journey until she gives him his phone number. And she's negotiating with him, and she ended up allowing him to follow her on Instagram.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So I feel I've been there before too, where you're just like, okay, I need to just like get this person away from me, but like they're not going to be sad. Yeah. Also, bro, just use Tinder like everybody else. You know, like why are you stopping on the
just
street
like dating your league? Like she.
Yeah, if actually it's not. If you got to stop your car and run after someone to get their attention, it's not looking good.
Yeah,
it's not looking good.
I would, if somebody pulled their car over and they ran up after me, I would not talk to them.
Truly, yeah. That's it's giving human trafficked.
It's giving cost of living crisis, and he needs to get a payday.
Wait, no, that's actually crazy. The cost of living crisis is extended to dating. Like people are like, please, I'm hungry. Like I'll shoplift if I need to.
You know, I did speed dating to save money on dates.
Did you actually?
Well, it's $70 for speed dating. You go on 14 dates. $70 is not one day.
I actually think you maybe should have worked for the Conservative Party because this is like you care a lot about the bang for your buck, and I respect that about you.
I am nothing except frugal. Like, you know, how can I, you know, be efficient with my time and also efficient with my money?
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. No, it's like, and I so appreciate you have just over 100,000 followers on TikTok. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you posted a very funny video the other day that actually I want to share with everybody. That was about just like you're an ally. You're a champion of women being inappropriately contacted and followed around. And you made a video the other day where a man, well, we'll play it here, but somebody was getting socks going. A man approached you and really wanted to know about the whiteness of your socks. Which I really want to play for everybody because it was hilarious. Okay, where did it go?
It's a little lower. Right under, so the nails, that one. Is this what women go through? I'm on a patio trying to enjoy my Americano and catch up on email. Guy walks by and he says, I really like your socks. They're just Adidas socks. I'm like, oh, thanks. And he's like, are they white on the bottom? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, that's so cool. It's socks. And he sees my boyfriend's socks, which are also white. They're Levi's. He's like, oh, are they white on the bottom? Says, can I see? My boyfriend is much more politer than I am, so he takes off his shoe and he shows this strange man the bottom of his feet. He says, "Can I see yours?" And I said, "I'm not taking off my shoe." He stayed here for another 3 minutes talking about the white socks. And as he was leaving, he was like, "I saw two handsome guys with white socks. I gotta stop and say something."
So that's real. That's a real experience you had with your boyfriend.
Yeah.
And you were in Moncton at the time.
That's where I was born.
Yeah. That's where I was the
born.
white sock capital of the country.
It was it was a very strange interaction. So here's what followed that. Like the interaction happened and I'm like, okay, I need to film this while I'm still like confused. And
that's how you get all the followers on TikTok, because you make it authentic.
So right after I'm done filming, I put my phone down and then a truck pulls up, parks right next to where we're sitting. Well, the window goes down and I hear, "Hey, sexy." And I'm like, oh my God, not again. It was one of my best friend's boyfriends.
Oh my God. Okay. That's so funny. That's so funny.
The timing of it could not have been more perfect, because like I was so like, as soon as I heard "Hey, sexy," I'm like, am I a woman? Like, what is happening? Why am I being harassed?
Yeah. You're like, this is a day in the life. Day in the life of a girly pop. Yeah.
Yes.
It's crazy because I haven't had like, I mean, I've of course had uncomfortable experiences where people have just been weird, but I didn't really realize how uncomfortable men can be sometimes until I started doing comedy. And that probably reveals like a lot of just like privilege I had like growing up and just like where I came from. But just like the thing of men feeling the need to like put their hand on your low back in a green room that is technically a professional environment while they explain something to you. And I very early on, because I gained a bit of a social media following kind of before I really started stand up, which was like always the goal, to be able to like sell myself to sell tickets. But like when there's like girly pops on the street that are like, "Hey, like love your humor. Thank you." I'm like, incredible. But when there's a creepy man that's like showing up to, there was this one guy about a year ago who showed up to just like multiple shows, and like similar to you, like we're doing this like multiple times a week. There were some shows where it's like I have like 3 shows in one night at like different venues. He would come to like all of them. And it was like, it's the same set every time, like, at that point, right? And like, I remember first meeting him, and like, when you just like meet somebody and like something in your head is just kind of like, like I felt a little uncomfy, just like the way like his eyes were like, just something in his eyes like felt uncomfortable to me.
Right.
And then that was confirmed through like the following me around. And then it turned into like him showing up at like asking me out, and then me saying no, and then him asking me out again, and then me saying no again. Do you not remember I said no? And then him being like, "Oh, I thought you liked me. Like I talked to your friend, like some made up person who said you liked me," and then him bringing flowers, and then him like, just showing up. And anyways, it got to the point where like he only stopped when I had a male friend intervene.
So is that how you stop these situations?
Most of the time, it's like find the nearest man. Yeah.
Wow.
Because in that situation, I think, because I had told this man several times, like I rejected him to his face, and I was like, clearly there's something that like he's just not either understanding, obviously not respecting me, but like in those situations, I'm like, the next logical step for me is to just like get a man, because I'm like, maybe you'll listen to or respect a man more than you would like my opinion. Or even like, I don't know, even if like I'm on a date and like I'm holding a man's hand, or like we're walking around together, just people are so much nicer to me, or not nicer, maybe less nice in some ways, but like the just like I'll stop getting like looks. Like people will stop being like creepy or uncomfortable, because it's like, oh, she's with that man,
Right.
But it's like the respect is given to you because you're but by like virtue of like being with like that person. Yeah.
I mean, listen, when I'm with my friends, and like even with the woman on the street, I can't, like, who am I fighting? Like, I'm not winning any fight. But my alpha male takes over, and I'm like, I will beat this fucker up. Yeah. But like, obviously, like, no, but logically, I can't.
But like in your head,
but I'll be like, I'm going to talk to the principal, and you're gonna get expelled. Like I
that
mean,
is a form of, fight, like you're using your resources. Them. Yeah, you could. True. You're like, I can't hit them, but I could annoy them till they want to kill themselves.
Yes, I could show them my bird watching my bird watching collection.
No, that's actually such a good tip. Ladies, if you're feeling uncomfortable walking home late at night, just carry a bird watching book with you, you know? Like, just pull that out and you'll be like, oh my God. Like,
yes. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but that's I think like, you know, not to generalize too much, but I feel like men often do have that kind of like more like protector like vibe, and like women have that as well. And I think that maybe like manifests in different ways. But I feel like what you're describing there, like sometimes I just don't understand what the disconnect is, because like most men, when they hear like a woman scream for help, are like, oh, rise up, big boy, like time to, you know. But then there's also just like these men that are just also being creepy and weird and have made it their mission to like make people uncomfortable. And so I don't know. I think how we solve that is men need to have more conversations with other men about like, you know,
no, I think
like,
that's the problem, actually.
They're having too many conversations.
I think they're talking to themselves.
Oh.
Yes, like they're having meetings, like straight men are sitting down and they're like, what do we think women would like us to do? And they're like, well, I would really like it if a woman was driving by, saw me on the street, and she ran after me. So we should do that to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I have another TikTok to show you. It's not your TikTok, but it's one that is very hilarious and related.
Yeah, I would love to watch somebody else's TikTok.
I'm calling in about my boyfriend. He was in a major accident recently with like this car, and like, you know, his body was like flailing around in the air and everything, and like he's okay, but it did kind of give me the ick.
Okay, so this is a big mistake I see you guys make. Getting ragged all around by the forces of nature. Well, what's she supposed to do? Respect you? Treat you like the king you are? I don't think so. She's already scared. You're in an accident. She's clearly driving, right?
Well, yeah.
The least you could do is keep it together a little bit.
Make yourself in charge of that situation.
Make yourself in charge of the situation. If you are a projectile out of the, let's say you smash through the windshield, you're going out, go out with a little charisma. Do some cool shit.
Go out with a bang. You want her to like remember you.
Now, I will say there is one exception to that. If you are in a tornado.
So, thoughts? Would you first of all, would you get the ick if a man flew out of a car during a car accident?
I do remember I was dating a guy and he was in Calgary on a work trip, and he was taking this road. There was ice on it, and there was a flood. Like part of the road had flooded, and he got the rental car stuck in the ice. And I was actually on the phone with him while this happened. Oh. So he's like freaking out, I broke up with him immediately. Yeah. Like I blocked him.
You blocked him right then and there. You like hung up and you were like,
he could still be
out
in
there.
that car in the river.
And no one will know because you were the last person he contacted, and you were just like, sorry. You know, isn't that so funny? I feel so bad for straight men. I honestly do. Because
no, you should not. Girl, they make so much more money than you.
I know. I mean, I don't feel bad for them financially, but like emotionally, like I think like men get all these like mixed messaging of like, you know, you gotta go with some charisma if you're getting thrown out of your windshield, but then also like, you know, be soft and like kind, but like not too sweet. You know, like girls don't like that. Like I think I feel like the men are very lost. And I feel like, so this is something I've been writing stand-up about recently that I find very interesting that I want your perspective on as a gay man, because 2024, we're living in like the, you know, one of the most sexually progressive times in history, right? Like it's not perfect. It's not great. Some people's rights are being, you know, taken away day by day. But like, it's,
I would say 2021 was probably the most sexual.
Peak. That was Britney Spears.
For me,
for you personally in the Tylenol
very
commercial.
Sexually progressive in 2021 very.
Damn.
Yeah,
actually, that
busy.
was also my slut phase. Also, wait,
it also
what's your
kind of continued. Then I was dating, and then he got into the car accident. Then I broke up with him, and then there was another period of sexual progression. I would say it was sexual aggression.
Aggression.
Like that's how.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's how frequent the calendar was filled.
Damn.
Yeah. Now it's more of a. You know,
it's like
it's steady inflation.
It's steady. just business as usual. Yes. Yeah, I don't know what was happening in the air in 2021, but that was peak. What's your astrological sign?
I'm a Cancer.
You're a Cancer. I'm a Taurus.
So I'm Cancer, Aquarius, Cancer. Also, I just heard on the news a couple of days ago that they studied a bunch of people, personality, and there is no correlation to the signs and personality traits.
Shocking. That is fake news. I refuse to accept it.
Yeah. I don't know which news organization it was, but I was like, I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear this.
No.
Yeah.
No. If I can't cry on demand as a cancer, like, what's there to live for?
Yeah.
You know,
if I can't blame the moon, who can I blame?
If I can't blame the moon for my lack of savings.
Yes. Okay. So we're sexually progressive.
So, okay, that's the point we're getting at. We're living in a sexually progressive time, but this is true. Our generation, millennials and Gen Z, we're actually having less sex and we're dating less than previous generations. Yeah. And like, there's like a bunch of, compounding factors for that. Like part of like what I read some books from the library on this in order to like develop this joke. Okay. Like this is like base. Part of it's like the pandemic and like our shift to like everything being like virtual and just like people's like loneliness in general, like being raised up. But I think it's like, what I think is interesting, and like, at least this is my perspective as like a straight woman, that like you have men on one hand being like, oh, like you can't even talk to a girl anymore. And there's like all these like questions about just like, I think like the Me Too movement and like bringing forward like what does consent really mean, like is ultimately like a good conversation to have, but like I think kind of ultimately didn't really get us where we like maybe want to be on that. And so there's like men on one side that are either like afraid to talk to girls, don't know how to approach the situation, and there's girls on the other side being like, all men are trash, I'm like choosing to be celibate, I'm choosing to be single, like men actually make my life worse, like single women actually live longer and have happier lives if they're uncoupled from men. And so like we're living in this, I just think it's hilarious that we're living in this like sexually progressive time, but like nobody's getting it anymore. And like I don't know, like is it the same in the gay community? Like are y'all still fucking?
Oh, we're fucking hardcore. We have not stopped. Where's the peak? Like I don't, it's like it like is the mountain still being climbed? No, the fucking is going. It's hardcore, and
it's still happening.
The gays are getting.
Maybe we need to. What do you think straight people could borrow from the gay community?
Just do it. Like it's not that hard. No, and so here's what's crazy. I went on in a 6-month period. I went on over 50 first dates.
Damn.
So that's 2 first dates a week at least for 6 months.
Was this while you were unemployed?
No, I was fully employed.
Babe, you had a job doing this also?
Full-time job.
Damn, okay.
Full-time job. And I was like still doing comedy and, listening to Mariah Carey and taking care of the cats and going on at least 2 dates
you
a
were
week.
When Reba McEntire says a single mom who works 2 jobs, you truly were her.
Oh, I was working 2 jobs, sucking 2 dicks.
Sucking 2 dicks. You were busy.
Yes.
You were busy. You were busy. So are you pro hoe face?
Absolutely. I think the important thing is though, now I will mention I can't hook up.
Okay.
Like I'm not a hookup person. I need to have a connection in order for me to be able to hook up with somebody.
Yeah.
However, I can be convinced to hook up. Like if it's been like situations where I've had like one-night stands or like just straight up hookups, the stars have to align perfectly for the person who's wanting to just hook up.
Right.
So
okay. When was the last time you just hooked up with someone?
I mean, I've been with my boyfriend for like a year and a half.
And you guys are monogamous?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Okay. I wasn't sure.
I am.
Yeah. I am too. I'm like
keeping my end of the.
Call him right now. FaceTime him right now. Let's prove it. Yeah.
He better be at the hospital.
Yeah. Wait, does he work at the hospital, or he's in the? You're gonna put him.
No, he works at the hospital.
Oh, okay. And if you're with some man, I'm gonna put you back in the hospital. Yeah. Okay, wait. Tell me about your relationship. How did you guys meet?
We met online, like normal people.
Yeah, that's right.
meet.
Yeah.
That's how people
You're not
meet.
saying. Was it like Grindr, Tinder, like?
It was Tinder. It was Tinder, and we met. Okay, so this was a really quick. So it was a Sunday evening. Now I had Tinder Premium. I'm not swiping.
Dylan.
I don't.
How much do you pay for Tinder Premium?
I mean, it was like $40 at the time. I don't know how much it it seemed like every relationship that I got out of, Tinder raised their price.
Yeah, right. That's cost of living crisis. Even Tinder's gouging us now. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, we don't have any men left in this world left for you. You gotta
supply and demand. You gotta raise the prices.
Like that's the inflation was caused by me going through men. That's what happened. So I saw that he liked me, and I liked him. And my profile, I was tired of writing those bios, so I just said, "My cats want to meet you."
Oh.
So he messaged me, "I want to meet your cats too." And then I was like, "Well, you got to go through me first." And he was like, "Okay, when?" And I'm like, "I'm free Monday or Thursday." And he's like, "Let's do Monday." This was a Sunday. So we met the next day. We had dinner, and I walked him to the subway station, and he was waiting for a kiss. He was waiting for a kiss. And I just got in the Uber and left.
You're at like Dufferin Station. You're like, "No, babe. This is not the moment for a romantic kiss." Aw. Wait, but so clearly he was interested. You were interested enough that it wasn't like.
I had a lovely time with him.
Yeah. Why did you just not kiss on a first date?
What's interesting, like normally I wouldn't, because I don't like to be forceful. You know, I don't think we need another man kind of forcing themselves on a person.
We really don't.
So I just, had a lovely time. And that's that. But I could see, I think I enjoyed the fact that he was waiting for a kiss, and like he was clearly waiting for a kiss. Like he'd also, like there was like a 3-second kind of like pause, and then just like turned away and walked down to the subway. And I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Let's turn around, walk around. Yeah. And so you met together for, you said, a year and a half now?
A year and a half.
Beautiful.
Our second date was a comedy show.
One that you were performing in?
No.
Oh.
No, so I made him watch other performers.
Just to like get a gauge first. Like, does he like this? Yeah, okay.
And then we were walking out. So another awkward moment. So we were walking out. And as we were walking out, I ordered my Uber, and it was a lovely night. And he was like, "Oh, I'd really like to go for a walk down here." And I'm like, "Okay, my Uber's here."
Was this your hyper independence kicking in?
No, this was just I didn't even know what game I was playing, but I was just like I gotta go, buddy. Like, it's late.
It's honestly, though, I don't know if it's the same with gay men, but I feel like with straight men, like you kind of have to like train them a little bit in general, but you can't. I hate this game as like a straight woman, but like you can't both like sexually, emotionally, etc. You can't give them too much of your time or too much like real estate in your life too early on. Like if they don't feel like they've earned that or like deserved that in some way, it's never gonna work out. It doesn't matter if you're like the perfect people on paper and like you're feeling it. Like if you don't give him time to make him feel like he like worked for it and like earned it, you're never. In my experience at least, it's like never gonna be successful.
I mean, it's different. Like I've dated people that I've hooked up with on the first night. I've dated people where it's taken a long time to, kind of get to the bedroom. But here's what I'll say. I think a lot of people will look for like a spark or a flame or like, something that's intense.
Yeah.
That's not, because like, if the peak is like the first few weeks and then you're just kind of, where is the thing that made me like you?
Right.
It's not.
Yeah. Like, so you're a fan of like a slow burn.
Yeah. This is definitely like, this relationship is my first slow burn relationship. And there's space for me to find new reasons to love him. I sound so like
that's beautiful. Oprah?
Oh my God, this is not who I am. But yeah, there is space. Like I love him more now than when I first loved him. I will say he loved me first. Just that's important to know.
It's because he said I love you first, or
yeah.
And sorry, why is that important?
Oh, it's just an ego thing.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm not
purely like being like, you were in love. Like,
yeah.
I was just, everything was chill. Like, I just met your parents, but like, it was casual.
Yeah.
Cute. Yeah.
Like, that's cute. Like you were dating me.
Yeah.
And I was dating others.
Did you have any? I was dating others. And now we're both monogamous.
Yeah,
That's
always have
yeah.
been.
You always okay, cute.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Was there like for people who are just like swiping on the apps
Yeah.
incessantly? Like
Yeah.
how did you move so quickly to like an IRL date, or like what tips do you have for being successful
I
on
mean,
Tinder?
like have standards and don't allow people to break those rules. Like if you're going to meet somebody if you're going to meet somebody that you've matched with on Tinder, FaceTime them because I would much rather like you can know if you're going to vibe with somebody over FaceTime within the first like 2 seconds.
Yes.
So that I would do that.
That's so. I've never done that before. I've heard people like suggest that. I've never done that, but I also feel like it indicates like if somebody's be like, nah, like I'm not willing to FaceTime you, then it's like, well, it probably wasn't worth your time anyway, right?
So you set your rules. So I'm not going to talk to you forever. If we're talking right now, we have to meet within a week.
Yep.
Or else we're not going to talk. Like, talk to me when you are available. Like, if you're going out of town, whatever, that's fine. That's fine. Just remember to message me once you're back, and then we'll set up a date. And don't break those rules, because people will, like, you'll learn if you can be with somebody if they're not going to respect your boundaries. So if you say, hey, we need to FaceTime before we actually make a reservation at a restaurant. And they say, no, I don't like FaceTime, or I have an Android. Well, block.
Yeah, you found out what you got all you needed to know.
Yes.
Yeah. You saved yourself potentially months of a situationship that went nowhere.
Absolutely.
That's so true. I love that so much.
Yes.
I wish I would have done more of that when I was dating in my early 20s, because there were so many times where I would like clear my whole night for someone that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And, took that risk. And then I get there and then, like not even done the first drink. And I'm just like, oh, I want to leave so bad.
Yeah.
And then I didn't, because I was like, they're still hot. And my worst first date, like Tinder story ever, was like, I met up with this guy. Like, again, the vibe wasn't there, but I was like, yo, it's Saturday night. This man's hot. I'll go back to his place. And I did. Sorry, Mom. And he put a finger in my bum. Which, I don't mind. I don't mind.
This is your best first date?
No, sorry. Worst. He,
I don't understand.
He put.
Sorry, break this down.
I know.
Break this
I
down
understand that
you
you're like.
got a finger in the butt and you didn't like it?
No.
What is happening?
It wasn't that I didn't like it. It was just like I was not expecting that. Also from like a first encounter. If you remember, I'm a straight woman.
You never expect a finger up the butt.
No, you never put it in Cal. You never like.
That's the point of it. And for him to listen, this man is going in strong. Imagine what he would have done to your butt the second date.
You're so right. Actually, I missed out on my husband. Greg from Tinder, if you're watching this, I miss you and I love you. But he put his finger in my bum, and I was going, I didn't say it like it was, like a surprise finger in the ass. I will die on that hill. That I understand that the gay community is supporting of that.
I don't think you need to be gay to like a finger up the butt. Like, look at you being homophobic.
Hilary Henderson's getting canceled right now because it was the surprise
if
element.
If you don't get a finger up the butt and enjoy it, canceled.
If you're not taking it up the ass, then grow up. Honestly, no. You're so
seriously,
right.
Pierre Poilievre.
If you just maybe that's what he needs. He doesn't need any more protein. He doesn't need steroids. He just needs a little fingy.
I think he probably did. That's what made his eyesight better.
Yeah.
Finger up the butt. Boom. No need for glasses. You're learning a lot about what I like, though.
That's crazy.
I still got my glasses.
That's
What does that tell you about me?
I really did not think this story through, and I was like, I'm gonna tell a gay man about the wildest date of my life, and I got a finger up the ass. And he's like, more please.
So I did have a colleague. I'll call him a colleague. It was my boss. He used to we were very comfortable with each other, and he would complain about somebody, and he'd be like, oh my God, this guy's a fucking cocksucker. And I'd be like, actually, I almost said his name. Actually, some people like that. And he'd be like, oh my God, yeah. And like, yeah.
And you're like, oh, actually, that's, yeah. Okay, Dylan, before we go, I have some real life dating stories that people on Instagram wrote into me about. And I want to get your reaction. We're gonna give some dating advice now. That's what's happening. It's a spicy one. I think you're gonna like it.
Okay.
I had the most mind-blowing sex of my life on the third date, and now he's not available because his work schedule doesn't permit friends with benefits. And he said, we've ruled out serious, so I can't hit it again. Exclamation point, question mark. This is just further pushing me into think I may never meet the right man to have sex, even just to have sex with, and might be gay because I've never felt so at ease sexually or in general with a man. This is a woman writing this, by the way.
Okay.
So she
had sex with a man.
On the third date. He was not interested in having any sort of relationship further.
Yeah.
And now thinks she's gay.
Okay, that's not how it works. You know, like she hasn't even watched a Tylenol commercial.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
like,
you can't be gay.
How is she
can't be a
considering her
lesbian.
sexuality?
Yeah, no, that's right.
You know, that sounds like an Advil user. You know, she's all like ibuprofen.
Get the ibuprofen away from us. This is big media.
So I do have a friend that every time they hook up with somebody new, they're like, oh my God, that was the best sex of my life.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like, perhaps she just has like short-term memory issues.
Yeah.
And she needs to just fuck somebody else.
Yeah. Okay.
And then she'll be like, oh my God, this is the best sex ever.
I think that's solid advice. If you're
But
just
also
like,
this is what dating is.
Yeah.
Like you're going to have good experiences with not great people.
Yep.
And then one day you'll find a good person with a good experience.
Yeah.
And
that's it.
That's when you know.
Yeah, and that's when you can put each other's fingers up your buttholes and tell them all about your ketchup stories.
I am curious to know, like, what made this experience better than, like, all of the rest?
Right,
Like, why is this the best sex?
Yeah.
You know, she probably got a finger up the butt. And she received it because she's polite.
I'm like this rude bitch who's swung away asshole fingers.
Who doesn't accept a finger up the butt? It's such a polite offer.
It was a peace offering. It was the most beautiful peace offering you could have given somebody when you're doing doggy style. It was like actually quite beautiful. But that's how it happened. And then the worst part, you look so like confused. I was like,
I'm just like I now have the full image. So he's just like looking down at, and then
it was just
he's like, what is this? What does this do? This is it goes further. Yeah, I love that.
That was he was exploring.
He was exploring. He was like, this body is a wonderland.
But the worst part, this was the same guy. I think I talked about it on the last episode. But this was the same guy who, like, after we finished that encounter, I was like, getting ready to leave, and he was like, "You can stay over if you want." And I was like, "No, I think that's too intimate." And he was like, "But what we just did wasn't intimate."
That's fair.
That was about as intimate as you can get with a person. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. But what I meant by that was like, I just like didn't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable like sleeping over at someone's place unless I feel like, like safe and comfy. And it's not even like a safety issue, like of me feeling like unsafe around the man. It's more of just like like I'm going to get so attached after I like sleep over and we like cuddle and everything,
Well, okay, so this will be good for you to note. The hormone that causes you to fall in love, like that causes women to fall in love, that hormone is released during sex. For men, the hormone that causes them to fall in love, it's released during stress.
Oh, okay. So you actually do have to make them crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to like actually cause them stress, be associated with that stress, and they'll fall in love with you. But women, women do fall in love during sex. So if you're being intimate, you're not feeling it. Well, yeah.
Biology really fucked us over on that one. I mean,
you got the shorter end of the stick.
Yeah, we did. We did. I would much rather fall in love through. Actually, no, I don't know if that would be more peaceful. So you're saying I need to, if I want a man to fall in love with me, I need to put the fear of God into him. That like
I wouldn't say fear of God. So here's what I do.
Yeah.
I spelled my boyfriend's name wrong. I just started doing it. Probably 3 months in, I started doing it. I replaced the E with an A.
Okay. What's his name?
Samuel.
Okay.
So I don't spell his name right.
Samuel.
I wake him up to tell him he's snoring. He's not snoring.
He just wanted
I just need subconscious, right? Like because he's like in a dream state.
Mm-hmm.
I like to hide his things. So he can't find it.
And then you like appear with it and he's like, oh my God, I can't live without him.
No, I just, I'll blame his lack of sleep. You probably didn't sleep good. You were up snoring a lot. Oh, you didn't sleep well? Yeah, bad dreams. Yeah, you're snoring. I heard you snoring. You kept me up. And
now you can't focus to know where your things are.
You misplaced your things. Like, oh, you threw that. I'm pretty sure you threw that out.
No.
Like, no, I didn't. Nah, check the garbage. It's there. It's there. I'm confident it's there. So
okay,
things
so it's
like
not if it's not even a big like stress thing. It's just like small little.
No,
irritating.
it's not like me being. I mean, I am being a dick to him all the time. Like I cause him like just general stress because I'm difficult to be around. But cornering a boyfriend in the kitchen to tell him about all of the times you've seen a woman squirt ketchup on herself.
Right.
That's stressful.
And if you're not in love after that, see, my approach to that is I bring them to watch me do stand-up comedy because that's stressful to be like, oh my God.
You need to be bad at those shows.
Oh.
You can't be good.
I couldn't ruin the brand like that, though.
Yeah, you would lose so much.
Yeah, it would not be worth the potential gain. I would lose the respect in the basement of the Jamaican restaurant I just performed at in Toronto last week. I can't handle that.
Stand-up comedy is just such a respectable career. And so much is riding on those.
My God.
Those $30 shows.
Yeah.
No, if you like brought him to a show and you got nervous on stage, like you showed that you were nervous, that would stress him out.
Right. Be like, I need to protect. Yeah. Okay.
And then he'd be in love.
Yeah. Well, what's your post-sucking dick routine?
I don't have one. I don't like sucking dick.
You just...
Like I do not like dick.
You don't?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
I have a personality. I don't need to suck dick. Like, what? Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Sucking dick?
Sucking dick. You're not sucking dick.
No.
You're taking it.
That's for losers.
Losers. Okay. Sucking
losers.
What it takes.
Suck
Like,
dick.
Grow up and put a finger in your ass. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
No, I don't suck dick.
Okay. Yeah, me neither.
Listen, it's
100%. Whenever that's gross.
And you know what? Here's what I'll say. If you don't necessarily like sucking dick, just be bad at it and then you won't have to do it.
That's how I feel about like carrying my groceries or like doing any sort of like manual labor. Like I'm like, I can't do it. How do you a drill? How do you use it? Like, yeah.
My wrists are too weak.
I know.
We were grocery shopping the other day and there was a woman who was talking to me about watermelons and I was like, I decline. And so she started.
But would you like to hear about ketchup?
So she started talking to this other woman and she was like, oh my God, these prices are crazy. Like, what? They think we're in Rosedale? Look around. This ain't Rosedale.
No.
Yeah, so I live in This Ain't Rosedale.
This ain't Rosedale. I would actually love a t-shirt that says This Ain't Rosedale.
I literally, like, I bought some stuff today and I texted my boyfriend the experience that I had today because there was a bunch of children lying around. I walked out of the No Frills and there was a woman sitting on a bench with no top on. I was like, I don't want to see it.
This ain't Rosedale.
And
she actually had that tattooed on her chest.
It was on her forehead, on her chest.
On each nipple.
Yeah.
This ain't Rosedale, baby.
Yeah. Well, her nipples were covered with stickers of Galen's face.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
And that's how we're getting.
And he had dollar signs over his eyes.
Dollar bills. That's how we're getting a first class ticket to Galen's private property compound.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see you there. Dylan, this has been so much fun. Thank you for joining me today. Before we go, can you let everybody know where can they find you online, at shows?
Oh, yes. I'm doing lots of shows all of the time in relation to when this is released.
Absolutely. We'll be busy then.
Come see me this weekend at locally nearby. Stand Up Dylan on Instagram, TikTok. Also, look for What Is Wrong With You by Dylan Mahaney, new comedy album coming out soon.
Woo. Mm-hmm. Incredible. Well, you know what? I think we did sample a little bit What Is Wrong With You. And I'm very grateful for that personally. You guys, this has been Overstimulated with me, Hilary Henderson. Try not to stay overstimulated this week. Maybe sell some ketchup packets if you gotta. We'll see you next time. Bye.